Hello and welcome to the United Stand. We're cracking early tonight because there's some cracking news. Antoine Griezmann has confirmed that there is a deal with Manchester United. Now, he's not confirmed the deal is done, but he has confirmed that there is a deal in place and he will know in the next 2 weeks whether that deal will go ahead. This is official. This is from Antoine Griezmann in relation to an interview on French TV. He was asked about Manchester United and could he rate it 1 to 10 on the likelihood of it happening, and he has said 6 out of 10, 60% chance, however you want to say it. He also said, David Beckham is my icon, but if I go to Manchester United, I'm not following in David Beckham's footsteps. I want to create my own. Number 7's free. Antoine Griezmann wears 7. Antoine Griezmann supports Manchester United. Antoine Griezmann loves David Beckham. It's some people would say it's the worst kept secret. I've been telling you for months that this deal is going to happen. I don't want to take credit for it, even though you can give us credit if you want, because we have said it's going to happen. But I also said a year ago, when we were on the United Stand a year ago, I know some of you weren't here then because we weren't as big as we are now, but I did say a year ago, right at this point, we did a show on what would your dream summer signing be last summer, and I said it won't happen, but Antoine Griezmann is the one player I think would be perfect for Manchester United. He's exactly what we need. And a year later down the line, we have this chance of getting him. Why is it 6 out of 10? You can read it into many ways, because you could say 6 out of 10. Well, he's saying it's better than 50-50. He's saying it's better than 50-50. If he's saying it's 6 out of 10, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, it's because it's dependent on Wednesday night. I'm more confident now that it isn't. I mean, Wednesday night, let's be honest, if we don't win the Europa League, it's still meltdown on Thursday. I 100% agree with that. But I don't necessarily agree that the Griezmann 6 out of 10 statement has anything to do with Europa League. I think when you're saying 6 out of 10, that's pretty much not done deal time, but it's very much edging towards that. I mean, if you're an Atletico, let's just flip it the other way. For those people who are saying it's all dependent on the Europa League, let's flip it the other way. What if De Gea was on Spanish TV tonight, asked about Real Madrid, and he went 6 out of 10? You'd go, you snidey little sod, David. Keep your mouth shut and just, don't let us know about it before you actually leave. So the fact that he said that means he's leaving Atletico Madrid. He can say there's no reason to leave them. He can say whatever he likes. But if you're an Atletico Madrid fan tonight and your star player has just said there's a 6 out of 10 chance that I'm going to Manchester United, then you're going to be pretty peeved with him, and it's pretty obvious that he is going to go. As I say, the Europa League thing, I don't necessarily think that's the thing that will take it from 6 out of 10 to 10 out of 10. I personally think he's just, it's just deal. There's a deal being done, isn't there? And who knows what can push it up to 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. I would imagine it's agreement between Atletico Madrid and Manchester United, agreement with his personal terms and his agent. I think that's the remaining 4. I don't think it's Champions League. I did say it a couple of months ago. I do think Griezmann will come regardless of whether we have the Champions League or not. I think that's the sort of signing. I think this deal's been set up for a long, long time. What do we get with Griezmann? I mean, unless I'm speaking to somebody from Mars, I think we all know the sort of player that Antoine Griezmann is. He's just turned 26. I think he's 5'9". I might have got that wrong, but he's certainly not that tall, but he's not that small. He's just very, very. Look, I know everything about Griezmann. Like I said, I've been on about him for years. Just a fantastic footballer. I understand that people are a bit worried about his physicality, but playing for Atletico Madrid, it's not like kindergarten cop playing in the La Liga. It's quite a tough league. You do get a little bit more protection, but the Premier League will suit him because the Premier League's more open, and he's a top player. What I really like about Griezmann that I've seen a lot of this season and over the last couple of seasons, but more this season, he's had a bit of he's not had a great season for Atletico Madrid, but he's so clinical, and it's exactly what Manchester United need. A clinical sort of number 10. He's not a striker, he's not a number 9. He'll play in behind the striker, he can play out wide. There's a lot of manoeuvrability with Griezmann, but I've no doubt about it, we will be spending a lot of money on him. It's an £89 million release clause. Atletico Madrid would not want to sell him. They are powerless to let him go because we will hit the £89 million release clause, and then it's in Griezmann's hands. I'm quite stunned, really. But then I was thinking about it just before I went live, and I thought, well, actually, why am I stunned? They're not in the Champions League final, Atletico Madrid. They've completed their league fixtures. His season with Atletico Madrid is over. And yes, he's got a couple of games coming up for France. In fact, they're playing England. But why can he not discuss his future? Manchester United are not in a position to announce this deal because we've got a big game coming up on Wednesday. But it's interesting. I am quite surprised that he has said that on TV, that it's 6 out of 10 to go to a club. I did say, though, all this talk about the weather and everything like that, what you've got to appreciate with Griezmann and all those people who were doubting about it is that Griezmann was getting constantly asked. I mean, he gets interviewed once, twice a week, and every single interview, no matter what's been going on since Christmas, is, are you going to Manchester United? Are you going to Manchester United? There's only so many ways you can say no. Well, he can't say no, and he certainly can't say yes. So there's only so many ways you can say no comment. And I think on about the weather and all that lot, it's just been, Manchester United have probably said, look, knock them off the path. We're not interested in that either. As long as you're coming to us, that's all we're interested. So I'm really, really, really happy about it. I know some people have their doubts, but as I said, it would have been my dream signing last summer over anybody. That was over Ronaldo, Messi, anybody like that. That was my one. And I didn't expect him to come to United last summer at all. But ever since the Pogba signing, I've just thought, it can happen. And I'm just so pleased that we're in for him because he's one of my favourite players in world football. It would just bring a hell of a lot to the party. He can shoot off both feet. He's quick. He's skillful. I think he'll work really, really well with a lot of the players that we've got. And as I said, Griezmann's the replacement for Rooney. That's what Griezmann... I mean, Rooney has not performed this season, maybe not the last 3 years. It's not a Rooney witch hunt, but I think Mourinho would have expected more from Rooney. I think what we'll see next season is the player that Mourinho expected to have this year. I think he expected to have a Wayne Rooney sort of number 10 in behind the striker, can push him up front if he needs to. And he hasn't had that. And we haven't really had that all season. He's tried Mkhitaryan, he's tried Mata. But Griezmann will be that fixed. You're playing in behind my striker. You're going to be my focal point. And I've said this so many times. Probably not that recently because it would have been like going over old ground. But when Rooney was poor at the start of the season and everyone was saying, the Rooney lovers were going, it's not Rooney's fault, it's not Rooney's fault. That number 10 position is fundamental in any successful football side. It really is. Whether you've got Herrera and Pogba in the midfield or Carrick or whoever, they take the ball off the back four. That's their job done. They've then got to give it to somebody to feed the striker and feed the wide men. And that's where the number 10 is. The number 10 is the person to take the ball off the midfielders. Pogba gives it them and Pogba makes a run on. Pogba gives it him and he looks to the wide. Pogba gives it him and he's looking for his number 9. That is what we have missed all season. We've tried it with Mata and we've tried it with Mkhitaryan, and for varying reasons and injuries and loss of form, we've never had a consistent performer, and that is what Antoine Griezmann will bring us, and that is why he is the replacement for Wayne Rooney. So for those who've joined us late, it's not speculation, this is from the horse's mouth. Antoine Griezmann on national French television tonight has said that he has 6 out of 10, 60% chance that he will sign for Manchester United. His season has virtually not finished, and he's out on TV saying that. He said in the next 2 weeks he will know for sure whether he's coming to Manchester United, and he also mentioned David Beckham, who's his idol, and he said, I won't be following in his footprints, I'll be creating my own. So it sounds to me like Griezmann wants the deal to be done. It really, the 6 out of 10, as I keep repeating, I don't think it's anything to do with the Europa League. We must win the Europa League. We must get into the Champions League because that's where Manchester United should be. But I don't think now that is going to be the reason. I think the deal is pretty much done. I don't think a player publicly, when they're playing for somebody else, publicly comes out and says they are very close to moving to a specific club. I've never heard of that being done. So I would be as stunned as I am now that he said it. I'll be as stunned in a couple of weeks if he doesn't sign for Manchester United. We know we've got the money to do it. We know we've got the status to do it, and we know that with the Champions League we can do anything we want, but we can pretty much do anything we want anyway. And that's been. And I don't take any pride in that. If we end up signing Griezmann on Saturday, but we've lost to Ajax on Wednesday, of course I'll be happy to have Griezmann, but I'll be ultimately Manchester United are about being in the best tournaments, and I want to be in it, so I'll be very disappointed if we don't have it. But we can still do this deal, and I do expect us to do it. I'm just very excited. I'm very excited. He's one of my favourite players, and to have him at Manchester United, and also not really mentioned it, the number 7 shirt will be his. The number 7 shirt has been abused for so long. It's been really... Memphis never should have had it. Yes, he did well in the Dutch League, but the Dutch League... Well, we're about to find out how good the Dutch League is on Wednesday, so I better not say too much. But in general, it's not a great league. Di Maria, did he ever even want to come here? We gave him the number 7. Michael Owen. this is a top player to be fit what for me is the most iconic football shirt in the world, and he is exactly the right fit for that shirt. So very, very pleased and very excited about it. And I'll do it, sod it, you only live once. The best thing is about this news coming out tonight is the Daily Mirror put out this afternoon that Liverpool are in for Antoine Griezmann because they've got Champions League football. And a lot of Liverpool accounts were saying, yeah, we can do it. I just think it's hilarious. I mean, I really do. As if Antoine Griezmann is going to go to Liverpool. I mean, you were a big club in the past, and well done for finishing 4th place. I don't mean that, by the way. But Antoine Griezmann to Liverpool, you're having an absolute laugh. If they think they can spend £90 million, I tell you what, they've got more chance of winning the title, and they've got no chance of that. I know that's a bit smug and arrogant, but that's Manchester United. We are. Somebody's on about the Atletico Madrid transfer ban. Well, mate, you know, that's irrelevant. There's a few people in fact, we've been joined by a couple of Liverpool fans. We've got Vintage Coutinho here saying you're an ex-great club, 6th place. I'll quote Patrice Evra for you, mate. And it goes a little bit like this. Manchester United are all about winning trophies. I don't understand a club that celebrates finishing in 4th place. It's 1st place or nothing. I think you're an ex-great club if you're celebrating scraping 4th place on the last day of the season. We as Manchester United fans know we've had a bad league season and we take it on the chin, but we know why. We can look at most of our games, especially against home sides, and say, not we should have won those games. We had won those games if we'd had a competent finisher. That's why we're going to go and spend £90 million on Griezmann. That's why we'll go and spend about 50, 60, 70 million pounds on a proper number 9. And I firmly believe that we'll win the league next year. I've said that all season. Mourinho always wins it in his 2nd season. I think he's faced unbelievable challenges this year. I think he's been let down by a number of players that he expected more from. You can even, I'm not just talking about your Rooneys and your Phil Jones and people like that. I am definitely talking about people like Mkhitaryan. I don't think, I like him, but I think he, where was he before Christmas? Anthony Martial, I love him, but, has he had a great season? So for Mourinho, it's been a very difficult season. But the reality remains, if you asked every Manchester United fan, what would you prefer, 4th place or the Europa League trophy, then 99.9% are going to say the Europa League trophy, because you get Champions League anyway, and actually we go straight into the group stage, you get a qualifier. We've not done it yet, and this is hopefully this is the bad few days we're going to have to put up with the 6th place rubbish, because come Thursday morning, if this team does what it can do, and we've got that trophy, then it's game on. It's game on. They'll all shut up and sit back down. But Liverpool fans on here, well, you're very welcome. I don't know where your channel is, but you certainly won't be reacting to stuff like this, so you're very welcome. The reality remains that Antoine Griezmann has come out and said that there is a 60% chance that he will come to Manchester United, and in the next 2 weeks he will know for sure. It sounds to me like Griezmann is basically saying, I'm a Manchester United player once they sort this deal out, which is music to my ears. Degree Fuser, can somebody put him back in his box? I don't know what club he supports, but he says, Mark, you were slating Griezmann and now you love him. Come on, bro, you're better than that. Can people who've been on the United stand for the last 18 months just put him back in his box? Because I don't think I need to justify that. I've been quite consistent about Antoine Griezmann for a long, long time, wanting him at Manchester United. And if you can be asked to go back and have a look at our transfer show at this time a year ago, we were all asked who our dream signing would be, and mine was Antoine Griezmann. So you will not find me knocking Antoine Griezmann at all. But I've said everything I want to say. You know what it is. It's Monday night. It's 8:30, nearly. We went a little bit live a little bit early. It is Skype Goldbridge. I want to know what you lot to think. That's what the United Stand's about. The United Stand is your channel, as much as it's mine, as much as it's Draughty's, as much as it's Alex, who in fact is a Griezmann lookalike. We'd love to get Alex on. It's your show tonight, but we've got some great news as well. So get on. We were going to be talking about Ajax v Manchester United, but we'll just do a bumper preview tomorrow night at 8:30. Tonight, we're talking Antoine Griezmann. The floor is yours, folks. I've covered everything. For those who've joined us a little bit late, we'll go over it all again, I'm sure. Skype Goldbridge, all one word. Get Skyping. I'll take your type in first. That rhymes. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Right. Get Skyping in, everybody. Emmanuel says he is an idiot. Mark, you said he was your dream player. I know. People just get jealous. He's probably a Liverpool fan. Liverpool, no, we don't want to talk about them. We don't want to talk about Liverpool fans. And he needs to be where Ibra has not been since he's injured. Back in the box. Big United fan, follow me, says Shamar. Is Griezmann better than Pogba? I don't like those conversations, Ryan, because it's all about... it's not about that. It's about what he can bring to the team. Let me take a call. We'll go with Andrew. Can you hear me, Andrew? Hello?
Hey, Mark. How's it going?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Doing pretty good, especially after hearing this news about Antoine Griezmann.
Yeah, give us your thoughts on it then. I mean, some people are a bit sceptical about it. Do you expect him to be a Manchester United player? I mean, I'm stunned that he's come out and said there's a 60% chance of it happening. For me, that does mean he will be a United player, barring some breakdown in the transfer negotiations. But do you think it's anything to do with Wednesday night in the Europa League?
I think that's part of it. I will say I think part of it is depending on if we do finish well in the Europa League, obviously meaning we win. But I think that it's kind of like what you were saying earlier, that I think no matter what happens, that Antoine Griezmann will be coming to Manchester United. And I think the only reason why I'm going to say that is because, like, why would you come out this early and say that when there's still we haven't even won the Europa League yet, and you're saying there's a 6 out of 10 chance? Like that to me is just saying way too much about what's going on. Yeah,
I'd agree with that. And just in relation to this Griezmann breaking news, what do you think that means for Manchester United's transfer window? That'll be £90 million. Do you think we'll be looking at other players? Where would you play Griezmann? Do you think he will wear the number 7 shirt?
Oh, absolutely. I think that there is no better person to take the number 7 shirt than Antoine Griezmann. We have not had a number 7 at Manchester United that has been worthy of it since Cristiano Ronaldo. And it's been really sad that that's been the case. But I think that if you're talking about going into the future transfers, that Antoine Griezmann, yes, he is the start of it, but I think that now I've been saying this for a long time, that especially with Marcus Rashford continuing to develop, I would prefer to go with somebody more of a secondary striker, not go after an Aubameyang, not go after an Icardi or somebody like that. I would prefer to go after somebody like Chicharito or somebody like that is going to be more of a backup striker to Marcus Rashford. I think Marcus Rashford, since Zlatan Ibrahimovic has gone down, has been showing time and again that he can be the number 9 for Manchester United going forward. And I think that there's no better way to do it than promoting youth from within. And that's something that I think Manchester United needs to continue to do, is continue to promote that youth. And I think that Marcus Rashford is the perfect person to come in and be that number 9.
So you'd like to see Griezmann in behind number 10 with Rashford given the chance up front?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see that.
Great. Okay, well, Andrew, you've been our first caller. Thanks for that. Where are you calling from?
Calling from Arizona, sir.
Cheers. Thanks from over the sea. Thanks for that, Andrew, and thanks for your opinions as per usual.
Thanks, Mark.
Just before I take another call, actually, it's interesting about that. I would not. I mean, it's everybody's opinion matters. I would go and sign. I would go and sign Aubameyang, Icardi. Not all of these. I would go and sign a Aubameyang, an Icardi, a Belotti, or someone like that this summer, because I agree about Rashford. I want to see him playing a lot of football, but who else have we got? Zlatan's out injured even if he stays. We've got nobody else other than Rashford. I'm worried about Martial's future, so I think we will go and, even if it's just Hernandez as a backup, then we need to go and do it. But before I take another call, let me just read you a few more quotes about this, because I know there is a little bit of skepticism about this, and this is, I mean, he's on telly, he's done this. Speaking in an interview on French television programme, I'm not going to pronounce it because I'm not French, Quotidien, Griezmann admitted a move to Old Trafford was possible. When asked what the chances of him joining United are on a scale of 1 to 10, he replied 6. The reporter replied, "That's quite a lot. You understand what you're saying?" To which Griezmann said, "Yes, I do." And when put to him if it was the first time he'd said this about Manchester United, Griezmann responded, "Yes, this is the first time." This is real, folks. This is hot off the press from the horse's mouth. He has mentioned Manchester United. He has said there's a 60% chance. I think it's great, because what I've noticed over the last couple of weeks is we've been on about this Griezmann deal for a long time, and I remember saying before even Christmas Griezmann will sign for Manchester United, and a lot of you were as well. I'm not saying he'd phoned me up and told me. A lot of us were confident this deal was going to happen. Some people weren't. But over the last 2 weeks, I think maybe something to do with United, the way United have been playing, I don't know. People have been saying, and maybe the false link to James Rodriguez and Bernardo Silva only over the weekend. I think people are starting to think, well, they're sort of number 10s. Maybe we're not getting Griezmann. And I think this is perfectly well timed by Griezmann to come out and say it, because it shows that we are in for him, we do want him, and he wants to come to us. And for anybody else who thinks they've got a chance of getting him, whether you're Atletico Madrid, whether you're Real Madrid, whether you're PSG, whether you're Bayern Munich, he hasn't said anything about you lot. He hasn't said anything about you lot. He could have said tonight, there's a 6 out of 10 chance I'm leaving Atletico Madrid. To be that precise and mention Manchester United, I can just feel all around Liverpool and all around London and all around the blue bit of Stockport. They're melting. They can't believe it. They've not even had a day they've only had a 3-day window to sort of have a pop at us for being in 6th if we win on Wednesday. They're not even going to get that, because even in 6th place, we will make the signing of the summer. There won't be a bigger signing than West Fuser has made a contribution. Thanks for that. He says, leave these Liverpool losers, low mentality. What number 9 would you prefer to pair with Griezmann? Well, it's your show, folks. I'm going to get another call on, because that's what it's all about. Hello, can you hear me? Oh, I've hit the wrong. Well, no, I didn't. I was there. Let me see if we can get somebody else. I did try with that person, so let's see if we can get them again. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello, you're live on the United Stand. What do you want to say?
I'm watching the Griezmann confirms Man United deal, the live stream you're doing at the moment. As you might be able to tell, I'm quite young. So all I really know about Griezmann from what I've seen is that he's quite a clinical finisher, and I feel if we did buy Griezmann, we'd also need a support striker with him, as he hasn't got the physicality.
No, you're spot on,
Premier League, I don't think.
And who would you be thinking of? Have you got any ideas? The previous caller was on about give it to Rashford, but we've only got Rashford with Zlatan injured. I think we're going to have to buy a striker. It's just whether we go for a real star striker in the mould of, I don't know, maybe an Aubameyang, or do we go with Rashford but get a backup striker like maybe bring Hernandez back? What do you think?
Well, I said that I think that we should buy a physical striker. I like the idea of someone like Lukaku. Obviously, 3 of our signings in the summer were through Mino Raiola, who's also Lukaku's agent.
Yeah.
But I was watching this Nike Strike night, the thing with like Aubameyang, Icardi, and all those, and I saw Andre Silva, who won that whole thing with, like, he was against Aubameyang, Rashford, all those top strikers. He seemed quite physical, and I think either Lukaku or Andre Silva would be good.
Yeah, well, it's a good shout. Nobody's really mentioned him before, so thanks for that. It's an interesting one, and I know people on the live comments will appreciate that, because they, like me, they have a good interest in transfers. But yeah, I'm sort of lost for words myself, because I think it's come out a little bit earlier. I knew we were going to get deals done in June, but I didn't know they were going to sort of get announced around the 20th of May, with still a full week left. So it's not announced officially yet, but I think when a player comes out and does that, it does. Just very quickly, because a few people have mentioned that, what does that mean for Rooney? What do you think?
Well, the 14 years I've been alive, from what he's United's top scorer. He's on high wages, but I'm not sure if it's from you or another Manchester United fan channel. But I heard that he's earning high wages, and they don't think that he should be using the wages if he's just going to be a squad player. So
yeah,
they were saying he should get his coaching badges or try and do something like that, or be backroom staff as like a second thing while being a squad rotation player.
Yeah, that's a decent shout. Thanks for calling in. We're going to try and get a few more on, but well done, first time calling in, and please do it again.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers, pal. Thank you. That's the greatness of the United stand. We get all sorts of opinion on there. Let's have a look at the live comments because I did see a contribution. Oh, ha T. Thanks for the contribution. He says, I would rather Dele Alli over Griezmann because he's Premier League proven. No, not me. Yeah. You never. No, I'm not gonna prefer anybody over Antoine Griezmann because he's the man for me. But it's all about opinion. It's all about opinion. Izama's made me laugh. He says, "What's the odds on Rooney being subbed in the 10th minute on Wednesday? Looking to put my mortgage on it." Yeah, if you've seen that John Terry thing, I hadn't seen it. I'd heard about it last night, and I watched it today at work, and it's just embarrassing. I think the way Wayne Rooney gets subbed off. Angel Gomez comes on. It's a bit like when Wayne Rooney got subbed on for Everton. I think it might have been Duncan Ferguson who went off, and it was the old and the new. And we did that brilliantly. It was no big fuss, fantastic. John Terry gets the ball kicked out on order of his management, has a big old 5-minute hug with everybody, gets a guard of honour. I mean, that bloke is just something else. Absolutely. And I don't mean that in a good way. I really don't. Let's take another call. Merck, can you hear me? Is it Merck?
Hello, Mark.
Hello, how you doing? All right?
Yes, mate. Good, you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. What do you want to talk about? Griezmann, by any chance?
Right, yeah. Just want to share some views on Griezmann. One, I think it's a good thing because we've got the likes of Rashford and Lingard and all these players who are upcoming into United, and having someone like Griezmann they can look up to. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
No, I agree. I think it's really important that we get clinical.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. Clinical is really important, and you get that with Griezmann. Like I say, he's 26. We need more players like that. Like you say, experience. He's still got plenty of years left in him, but he's done it on the biggest stage. He's a regular for France. He's been playing for Atletico Madrid, lots of Champions League football. So yeah, I think it's very, very important that we get a player of that quality to come in. As I said there, I don't know what you think. I just think that Mourinho really hasn't had a number 10 this year. I think he expected more from Wayne Rooney.
Definitely. I think Wayne Rooney is. I think he's had it to the top. I mean, we've seen a couple of games, right? I've been watching every single game of United playing on TV, right? There's fans out there been watching him play on the pitch, on and out, and you can tell him he's lost his touch. Like, he's the same with Chris Smalling. I mean, these are the people that I don't think that should be at United anymore. Deadwood, they should be just out. Smalling, Fellaini, Young, Rooney, they should be gone. Rooney's lost his touch on every ball. Every single time I see Chris Smalling touch the ball, I panic. It's absolutely bizarre, mate. He was player of the year last year?
Yeah.
And I just find it bizarre, like the fact that he's actually been picked. He should leave. He should actually just leave. He should be got rid of. Fellaini should be gone. I just think we need a new resurgence of a new squad, and we got Bernardo Silva we're linked with. We've got players like Fabinho. We've got players like obviously Griezmann. And I think we should stop going for players like Mbappe, because we have a young potential squad. We've got Rashford, who's fantastic. I don't think we need Mbappe. We've got Rashford. I think Rashford can look up to Griezmann. Zlatan's obviously on his way out, but it'll be a great send-off for Zlatan if we win the actual Europa League.
I've just had there's a message there which Becca's actually deleted from Irish Reds, who I know is quite a regular, but I'm not too sure if he's a Liverpool fan. It looks like a Liverpool emblem on there, but he spends a lot of time on a Manchester United fan channel. I've only just realised he has got one of them Liverbird things on there, but he's always on here. I thought Irish Reds meant Manchester United, but obviously it's Liverpool. And his comment was, he's not confirmed anything, you clown. What's your thoughts on that? He says 6 out of 10. I mean, I know what my thoughts are about that. I'll be stunned if he doesn't sign for United now. I've never heard of a player come out and say that.
Well, the thing is, look, I follow on Twitter, right? And I follow a couple of journalists like Mark Odgun and Samuel Luckhurst. And
don't
the
follow
thing
him.
is,
he's a clown.
Yeah, No. I mean, all these people. I'm just saying, these are all journalists. They just want to put rumors out. The biggest person I disrespect, I actually hate on Twitter is that Balagu guy, the Spanish guy. He's absolutely ridiculous. Like, just he hates United to the max. The fact that he's talked about Griezmann, saying it's a 50-50. He doesn't know anything about it. He's just creating rumors, right? The fact that also Griezmann's now come out and said 6 out of 10 coming to United, that is a clear indication he's coming to United. The 4 is waiting for the Europa League spot on his contract. The Champions League. So on his contract, obviously, there must be a clause or something saying pending on Champions League. That's the only thing pending, I think. And I think he's a done deal, to be fair. And I think we're going to win the game on Wednesday. What do you think?
Oh, you know what? Again, I'm sort of grateful of this news coming out, because up until about 20 minutes ago, the show was called Mourinho's Final Plea, and we were going to be Skyping in about our thoughts. We'll just do it tomorrow night now. But again, I'm just grateful of this news tonight, because I'm very nervous about Wednesday night, but it's taken my mind off it. Just like the fantastic performances from the youth yesterday. So we're 48 hours away now, and I think I am very nervous. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I am. You don't know what you're going to get with United, and I don't really know.
Look, I clearly. Look. This is the thing. Mourinho has had experience on finals. He knows how to play. Think about it. He's gone out in the press and said to people that there are 4 games of Premier League he does not want to concentrate on. There's 1 game he'd rather give his 110% on that. You know, Mourinho's a winner, and look. Over this, I mean, I've been listening to all these calls like for the past couple of days, and people have been talking. There's just so much negativity with the fans. Like, we need to be positive. Look, we've been playing good football. Now, all out them 15 games we've drawn, we've dominated every single game. If we won 10 out of them games, that's 30 points. We'll be right at the top. Now, people don't get this, that we've been playing much better football, and the fact is that people need to start being more positive.
I think a lot of people will put it on hold until Thursday morning, to be honest, which is quite understandable, because I think if we don't win the game on Wednesday, then I think the Premier League's sort of been put on the back burner, but a lot of us will look at it. I totally agree with what you're saying, though. We've dropped a hell of a lot of points this season that are down to us, and if we'd had a Griezmann this season, we would comfortably in the top 4, because for those who've watched every United game this season, we know it's very easy when you draw at home to say, oh, we should have won that, because we're Man United and we're playing someone like Bournemouth. But we really should have won them games. We had so many chances and we didn't put them away. So I agree with you.
Look, we know. Look, there's another thing. We know there's a change of whole management, and the fact every team needs adapting. The fact is, with Fergie, he played the same kind of team. He brought 1 or 2 players in, and that's it. He knew how to play. He knew Man United. He was romantic with the club. Right, these other managers like Moyes and Louis van Gaal, they've been watching United, but they don't know the full story. And I think the fact is Mourinho needs time. Like, this is his first season, right? He's playing in the right way. We've got players that we know and obviously he knows that they need to go. Players like Young, Fellaini, Carrick, hopefully, but obviously Rooney definitely. These players, I think. They'll create some type of stability as well in the background, not obviously off the pitch as well. Even though they move to different clubs, it'll be a big step up for our young. You saw how the players played on against Crystal Palace. It was like a different team. It was like a different team. We were just playing absolutely fantastic. And think about it. Look, what was that? A home game. We've drawn loads and lost loads at home, and we've won quite a lot away. Pogba, look at him. His dad passed away, right? 1 ball, and that's it. He was controlling 45 minutes. The fact is, we've had problems in our finishing this season. That's all. We've got everything there. All we need is a top striker. Griezmann's the person. We need some wingers like Bernardo Silva, I think, who can put crosses in. That's why Mbappe's been smashing it at AS Monaco. It's because of him and Falcao and Lemar that have been pinging in crosses, right? And Mbappe's been tapping them in. No wonder he's all over Twitter saying, "Oh, he's a fantastic, great potential." He's like 90 rated on my bloody FIFA career. Wonder why, mate? It's because of these players like Bernardo Silva that are helping these young potential. These are the type of players we need to get. I just simple think, and we've got a good summer. Mourinho's getting his business done, and it's fantastic. I think it's going to be a great summer. I think next season we're going to be starting from fresh, competing for all the titles. We've got Champions, mate. I think Champions League's ours. I'm telling you now, Mark. Champions League is ours. We're in the Champions League this Wednesday. I'm 100% confident. I think just a quick message to all the chat, because there must be some other callers. I just want to let every other person know in this chat that we need to stay positive, fight for our team. We know we're playing good football. We've got some good transfers coming in, and we just need to see more positivity, because I personally think we've done much better than play with against Tottenham and Liverpool. Because I mean, obviously Liverpool's a shit team. We don't class them as a team, but we've been doing much better. We've done much better than Tottenham and Liverpool. And I think another guy called I think it was Robbie Savvy, just saw a video. He mentioned that we've been playing much better football as well this season. So I totally agree with Mourinho. I'm backing him all the time, and I think it's going to be a great season upcoming.
Great call, pal. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Leicester, so I'll give a big up to anyone from Leicester, and good luck to everyone.
All right, mate. Cheers for that. Great call, and do call in again.
Take care, Mark. Bye-bye.
Thank you, pal. Thanks. There's a few things I want to pick up on there. I've got a couple of callers calling in, so don't worry, I will take your calls. But Gaelic Elvis says the interviewer with Griezmann asked about David Beckham. What exactly was said about that? He was asked, well, look, to summarise, because I know people are joining it a little bit late. Griezmann, this is not speculation. I don't even think Griezmann confirms Manchester United transfer deal should have a question mark on it on our title, because he's confirmed there is a deal. He's not saying it's deal done, but he's confirmed that there is a deal there. You don't just sit there on live TV and say, when a reporter says to you, what are the chances of you going to Manchester United? Oh, 60%. Like, if you're Man United and you've not sorted a deal out, you're going to be sat there at home going, what? We're not even in for him. So there's definitely a deal. It's just not a deal done yet. We're not at that stage. So basically, what I've just told you there, the reporter on live TV in France says, what are the chances of you going to Manchester United? He says 6 out of 10. He says, do you know what that means? He says yes. And he says, is this the first time you've said anything about this? He said yes, it's the first time I've mentioned going to Manchester United. He was then asked about David Beckham, and he said, look, David Beckham's my idol, but I don't want to go to Manchester United and follow in David Beckham's footprints. I want to create my own. That is fact. That is from Antoine Griezmann's mouth. I'm ecstatic about it. I'm so excited about it because I want him at Manchester United. But I'll get
Mark?
Sandra on in a minute. 1 minute, mate. And I'm very, very excited about it. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Hello?
Can you hear me, pal?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, 1 minute. So yeah, I'm very excited that we're going to get him. But you just don't do this for all these Liverpool fans that are turning up, and Arsenal and City fans and everybody else. That you, as a player, you don't sit there the day after your season's ended and say, "There's a good chance I'm going to Manchester United." I mean, Atletico Madrid. Some of them fans will have been thinking he's going to stay. They'll be absolutely fuming. So if this deal is ding dang done, as far as I'm concerned, unless something drastic happens, and I don't think it will be losing the Europa League final. But Sandra, it's your call.
Yeah, to be honest, I just want to quickly touch on how I think Lingard should start in the final, because he bought all the fans a drink after the game.
Oh, you can get off.
I'm only joking. No, what I really want to talk about is, look, I'm absolutely ecstatic. I think Griezmann will come. I think, he can't say it's done. It's a done deal, because there's obviously still a deal being done. But he can't cancel it out. Like he said, it's 6 out of 10. And I don't think it's Champions League dependent. But, what I will say is, what does this mean for Andreas Pereira, who we saw sitting in a box the other day? What does it mean for those kind of young players? I would love to see him get a shout next season. But, I think you agreed on this as well. This is going to be a signing that he starts week in, week out like Zlatan did. So I'm just fearful, look, I'm ecstatic that he's coming. He's an absolutely fantastic signing. He's exactly what we need. He's clinical. He'll fit the number 7. He gets Man United. It's brilliant. But is there not a fear that we become slightly like a buying club and not, it's all well and good playing this youth in the last game of the season. And, but when it really matters, are we playing the youth? I don't know what you think of that.
I know Xander because he's been on the show before, and I would just say quite bluntly, stop your bloody moaning. This is Antoine Griezmann.
No.
I get exactly where you're coming from. I do. I totally agree with you. But this is, as I've been saying for months and months, Griezmann is the Rooney replacement. He's not the stop Pereira replacement. He's not stop the youth replacement. We're losing with Wayne Rooney, a player that should have been a lot better even this season. An experienced, world-class player. Not anymore, but has been, and Mourinho would have been expecting that when he signed him. We desperately, desperately need a top of their game number 10. And I love Andres Pereira. I think he can be a fantastic player for us. But would we all be happy if in August we didn't sign a number 10 and we gave Andres Pereira that spot? I'd back him. I'd hope he'd be fantastic. But the Griezmann deal needs to happen. It needs to happen because we need top of the draw, top of the class, number 10 to come in and replace Wayne Rooney. And that's what Griezmann is. But I agree with you. I think the youth hasn't been used enough this season. I think Fosu Mensah getting only 20 minutes before yesterday in the Premier League is shocking. He's ready. It'd be interesting to see what happens with players like that. Andres Pereira needs a chance next year, though. He's ready.
He's like 20, 22 now, I think. And, you know, it's becoming now... He's had his loan spell, right? He's done that step. He smashed it, right? And now he needs to either move on and start playing regularly or go on another loan. I don't think he could do another season on the bench, Mark. I think if you start doing that, another season on the bench, then you become, 23, 24. And I just think you're passing by development. Look, I'm absolutely ecstatic. Maybe I should have put it another way. Maybe I should just say I'm a little bit worried for Pereira because he's got so much talent. And I want Griezmann more than anyone, like you do. But I just wanted to say I'm just a little bit worried for him because he is so promising. And, Griezmann is his place. But I get you.
I think, to be fair, I was going to say this point anyway, so I may as well say it, that in relation to this deal for Griezmann, I've got no concerns about it. It is Rooney's replacement. It's the deal that everybody pretty much knew was going to happen for a long time. £90 million is probably what it'll be, so it'll probably break the Pogba deal or be the same as the Pogba deal, world record. I can't see anybody going higher than that unless Real Madrid sign Mbappe for 120, which is what Monaco want. Good luck if they do that, he's not worth it. But it's the right signing for Manchester United at the right price. That's what you've got to pay to get that sort of player at the right age, prime years, just turned 26. Perfect. You can't guarantee he's not going to flop because you never know. He's exactly what we need. The exciting thing for me is, and the thing that was annoying me a bit about James Rodriguez news last week was that I want it to be perfect. I want it to be in the right order. I want Griezmann in first because he's the star man, and then everyone else comes in afterwards. I didn't want Rodriguez because I couldn't see. I was like, I like James Rodriguez, but we need 4 or 5 positions done before him. So the Griezmann thing, if it's going to happen in the next 2 weeks, which sounds like it will, that's great. And it's great that it's done at the start of June. And I think Bernardo Silva could happen, and that's the deal I was coming to. If Bernardo Silva happens, what is the future for Pereira, Mata and Mkhitaryan then? Because that is, who's going, it's easy to see that Griezmann is Rooney's replacement if Rooney goes as everyone expects. But bringing somebody like Silva or Rodriguez in, well, who are they replacing?
Yeah, I get you. Look, that's the same problem I had with Mbappe. If we buy, I don't think we will. I don't really want him either. But if we were to sign Mbappe for whatever the price was, 70, 80, 90 million, something ridiculous for an 18-year-old who's only done it for one season, what does that mean for Rashford even? Because if you think about it, right, when have you ever seen Mourinho play 2 up front constantly throughout the season? You haven't. He doesn't do it, right? And fair to him, that's not his style of play. So if you were to sign Mbappe for something like that for high numbers, you're not going to rest him. You're not going to just buy him for development, right? You buy him for the now. And I'd worry for people like Rashford. So that same point applies for Bernardo Silva. What does that then mean for the young players in those kind of positions? Lingard. No, but I really think we should get rid of Lingard. But anyway, that's another point. I don't really want to sign any kind of young players at the moment. I think we've got enough young players in our team, in our reserves that have enough potential to break through. And to be honest, I agree with you and what a lot of other people have said. We need ready-made performers, and in a sense, that's what we got Mourinho for. Mourinho brings in ready-made, proven quality, and so therefore, I think Mourinho is the right man for the job.
Yeah, great. We've got loads of people watching. I'm sure you're all excited about Griezmann. I'll give another update after Xander's gone, but it is a little experiment for you, just to gauge things. Drop a like on the video if you think Antoine Griezmann will be a player in 2 weeks' time for Manchester United. or just drop a like on the video because you like it. But I'm convinced. I'm absolutely convinced. I'll throw this back to Xander as well. I think I've never known a player finish a season with Atletico Madrid, well, any club, and the day later go on the national TV, be asked a question about another club and say, yeah, I'm 60% sure I'm going there. I'll know in the next 2 weeks. You just don't do it. At best, I mean, Atletico Madrid fans, I've got nothing against you, but you must be gutted because at best, he might have said there's a 60% chance I'm leaving Atletico Madrid. And then Atletico Madrid fans would know he's going. And then Liverpool fans would get little hard-ons thinking they're going to get him. And they're not. They've got no chance. But Bayern Munich and PSG and United fans would be thinking, ooh, be a bit like Eden Hazard a few years ago when, everyone knew he was going, but they didn't know where he was going. But for him to say Manchester United as well, I've never known that happen. I am never be 100% sure in life, but I'm pretty high now. I mean, I'd say all season I've been about 70%, which is a lot. I'm probably up to about 90% sure now that he's going to come to United, and I don't think it's dependent on Wednesday night.
Yeah, but to be fair, if we want to be 100% right, he didn't say Man United. The interviewer said Man United, and he answered. But I get what you mean. He could have just said, "Oh, I don't know. I like it here at Atletico." He didn't. He can't now. Or I don't see him now going. And if it breaks down, and go and say, "Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not so sure. I'm staying now." It doesn't happen. You don't come out with answering 60% to Man United on live TV if it's not going to happen. Even if people are saying it was Champions League dependent, and we don't get Champions League, he'd be mugging himself and the club off. The club wouldn't have that either. So I think it's done. And I think, like you, I've never seen it happen before in my short lifetime. But yeah, he's coming. We should all get excited for it now. He's going to be the world record signing. He's clinical. He's exactly what we need. He's a Rooney replacement. He's a fitting number 7, finally for once, after Valencia, Owen, Memphis, Di Maria. He's finally got a proper number 7. And, on to Wednesday. Hopefully we can win that. I am nervous. I'll be in the pub because I've got no TV at home. Brilliant. But yeah, I'm excited, and we've got an exciting summer to come.
Cheers, Andy. Nice to have you back on again, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Yeah, nice one, Mark. Cheers.
Cheers, pal. Just while he was talking there, I just wanted to just go over this again because there are a lot of people doubting this, and he has said this, but this is funny. Only yesterday, Antoine Griezmann was quoted as saying, "I remain at Atletico because I'm happy, just the same as the day I joined. I have no reason to leave." Today, he is asked a direct question. He's asked a direct question. On a scale 1 to 10, 10 being signed, how close are you to signing for Manchester United? Griezmann responds 6. To which the interviewer says, "Do you know what you're saying there?" "Yes." And then he asks him again, "Is this the first time you've mentioned a deal with Manchester United?" "Yes, it's the first time." So he's had it clarified. It doesn't, Manchester United. He's on live TV, and I'm stunned he said it. Most people would say no comment, don't want to talk about that. Very easy to say. It doesn't need to say what he said tonight. It puts a massive smile on my face. I've got to be honest. Really, really, really pleased, and just dream signing. Really, even though we pretty much knew it was going to happen, it is a dream signing, and I'm very, very pleased about it. Loads of people calling in. Let's get Indy on. Carisha was calling. I was going to try and get Carisha on because I know she's a favourite. But Indy, how you doing, pal?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Good. You sound a bit miserable, don't you, like Griezmann?
Yeah, I do.
What do you want to say, pal?
Yeah, I was just thinking, if you do sign Griezmann, because I know our best formation is 4-3-3. 1 defensive midfielder, 2 central midfielders. What I think the problem is with that, you say Griezmann needs to play behind the striker, and we can't do that because Pogba can't play in a 4-2-3-1 because defensive midfield isn't really his best possession. You can't get the best out of him in that. So, what do you think about that?
I've seen a few people on here, and I don't want to get into arguments. I've seen a few people shouting out that Griezmann's not a number 10. Oh, wash your mouth out. He can play as a number 9. He ain't going to play as a number 9 in the Premier League very often because he's not suitable for that. Griezmann plays his best football in and behind a striker. He can play to the left-hand side, he can play the right-hand side, but the way he will play with Manchester United, in answer to Indy's question, this is how I would do it. Well, it's difficult because you're going to have I mean, with Griezmann, you could put him to the left-hand side, you could put him to the right, but I would go 4-3-3. I'd have that anchor midfielder, whether it's Herrera or we sign somebody. I mean, ideally, I think we need to sign a midfield destroyer in the Kante sort of mould to just go and get the ball and feed the better players ahead of him. I'd then have Pogba box-to-box, and then I'd have Griezmann ahead of him, and then I'd have a right-hand-sided player, a left-hand-sided player, and a number 9. That's how I would do it, but there's a lot of fluidity. You could play Pogba, Herrera and a CDM, and then have Griezmann sometimes up front or Griezmann to the left. There's loads of fluidity, and I think that's the brilliance of Griezmann. I would be signing him as a number 10, but he can play on the left, on the right, and he can play up front as well. Is that how you do it, or have you got different ideas?
Yeah, totally. This is what I think we should do in the summer. Okay, I know how you say we should sign Varane or Manolas. Well, I disagree. I think we should go for Michael Keane. And I think that we already have a good defence. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, and I know the comments are coming right now, but look, our defence, we've conceded probably not the least amount of goals. Spurs concede the least, but we concede the second least. So I think we do have a good defence. I know Rojo's out to December, but if you get Keane in, I know he's your third choice, but when Rojo's back, he can partner Bay. But I think Blind is a good centre-back as well. And in case everyone gets injured, we can play Domi there and Carrick there. I mean, wait.
Still there, pal? I think we've lost Indy. Indy! A bit like that Indiana Jones film. I appear to have lost him. Okay, let me go to the live comments because I've neglected you for a little bit. But good call that by Indy. I did appreciate what he was saying there. God, the live comments is flying through. We're very, very close to 89,000 subscribers. I don't normally shout out about that stuff on such an important evening. But if you are new to the United Stand, as I suspect some of you may well be, this is the United Stand. Welcome. And you've found a fantastic community, which is very much about you and your opinions. So subscribe. We're live tomorrow night at 8:30. We've got a live 7 a.m. show every morning with transfer news. Loads and loads of content. If you've stumbled upon us, I think you've found a great community. Get involved. It's going to be a big, big summer. We're here all the time. We don't stop. We don't stop because the football stops. Here she is. Carisha, can you hear me? Or is she gone? Hello? I'll ring her. I've got it. Don't worry. Carisha, can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Hi. Can you hear me, Mark?
Yeah, I can. You're live. What do you want to say?
I was just I heard you guys talking about the formation thingy with Griezmann. I think if Griezmann come, he will play our right winger. He's not going to play like the right winger, but he's going to play on the right side, and he's going to have a free roam. It's what he wanted to do with Mkhitaryan, because when remember Valencia is going to bomb forward. So, and Mkhitaryan, when he plays on the right, he tends to roam. He doesn't always stay on the right side. So he'll practically be like a 10 and a right winger at the same time.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I think people, I don't know what you think, Krish, but I think people get a bit lost in rigid formations, and I think fluidity can be achieved with intelligent top-class players. We've seen, I think Pogba, I'll get your opinion on this. Griezmann is brilliant. I'm really happy that we're going to get him. But I agree with a lot of people is if we get a Griezmann, and I think it will be Griezmann, but even if it was Rodriguez or Silva, what happens to Pogba? Because we've seen if Pogba becomes a disciplined midfielder, he loses that freedom. And I think it's getting the best out of Pogba that's important. So where do you think Pogba fits in if we get Griezmann?
As I said, I think we'll play a 4-3-3. A 4-3-3, and we'll have Griezmann on the right and have Pogba as a box to box.
Yeah. But
that's the only way I see it.
So if you've got Pogba in a midfield 3 and Griezmann's on the right, who's playing as your number 10 in behind the striker? Do you think we'll sign somebody else for that, or who would you have as your front 2, or is that Griezmann's role as well?
That's Griezmann's role as well. Remember, we have Valencia. Valencia doesn't stay back.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Valencia is always going forward.
And what about, somebody said a couple of calls ago that they'd like to see Rashford as the permanent number 9. Is that what you would do, or do you think we need to still go and sign a top striker as well?
I don't know, because I really don't know what he's up to, but I have this feeling that we're going to keep Zlatan, and then we're not going to have him on a contract. We're just going to help him recover, but we'll sign him back January. That's what I think. Like, we'll have him come into the squad. So I don't know if we're going to buy another striker. I think Rasha will play the striker's role.
Yeah, and what about, I know we've spoken in the past, I'm a bit concerned, even before today, I'm a bit concerned about Anthony Martial's future. What do you think is going to happen with Martial this summer? Do you think he'll still be a United player in August, or do you think Mourinho might get rid?
No, I don't think he's going to sell him. I think next year he's going to be rotated with Mkhitaryan. Like, I have a feeling that he's going to be rotated with Mkhitaryan. It's going to be like either he starts or Mkhitaryan starts. He's going to come off the bench, or Mkhitaryan is going to come off the bench, because that's what I think. I think they'll play on the left side.
Yeah, good point. Right, loads to get through, Carisha, but I saw you calling, so thanks for calling in.
Oh, and I wanted to say something else.
Yeah,
Mark?
Yeah, go on.
I wanted to say something else. The thing with Andres Pereira, I don't think, I think everybody's looking at it he's never going to get in a game. He might not get a lot of game next year. Andres Pereira is Juan Mata's replacement. I think this is Juan Mata's last year. This is why I want us to win the Premier League next year, because I think he's going back to Spain. I don't think Mourinho is going to keep him that long. I think Andres Pereira is Juan Mata's replacement. Don't know. That's what I think.
Well, you heard it here first, and I hope you're right, Carisha. I know you're a regular, so we can hopefully see that in a year's time. But thanks for calling in again.
Okay.
I hope Carisha's right about that in relation to Andres Pereira. I've been going on about him for a long time. I think he's ready, and I think he's good enough, and I think this loan has been fantastic for him in La Liga, playing in a relegated side, but really standing out and performing. I think it will do him the world of good. Obviously, he's back now at United. Jack Strand makes a good point. Thanks for the contribution, Jack. He says, when does the transfer window open? We always get asked this, and it's a very good question. The transfer window officially opens on July the 1st. However, deals will be done before they do get done. Mourinho is well known for it, especially away from United. He didn't start in United till July the 1st. We did get Bailly around the middle of June, that was announced, and then everybody else was the first 2 weeks of July. Zlatan and Mkhitaryan. And then Pogba was obviously rumbling on for weeks and weeks. But Mourinho is well known for getting deals done in June. I think when he signed Diego Costa for Chelsea, that was pretty early on. I'm mixing up Costa with somebody else. But he gets deals done early. And as I said a couple of weeks ago, June will be massive for Manchester United. We'll get a lot of deals done there. Whether they announce them on July the 1st or we get told about them, whatever. Griezmann's obviously going to happen, isn't it? It's obviously going to happen, and it will happen in the next 2 weeks. Because what I don't want to happen with Griezmann is this is a significant signing for Manchester United. It's the number 7 shirt. It's the replacement for Rooney. It's a top-class player. He's world-class. He's one of the big signings in world football at the moment. We don't want it to rumble on. I mean, the bad thing about the Pogba deal is, I think Adidas and Manchester United handled it well, but it got a little bit boring by the time it got announced. We want this deal announced, done, move on to the next one, because I think Mourinho will feel the same. We need to get these deals done fast this summer because we need to get a few done, and a few need to go out the door as well. Yes, Linus Johansson, fantastic point. He says, I feel like people think Martial is older than he really is. There's so much talent in him. I'm a big Anthony Martial fan. I am slightly concerned that we might get rid of him this summer. I really hope that we don't. I think he's got so much more to give. I'd have him involved on Wednesday night. I would. But he's had a bit of an up and down season. Niall Parker says, if we get Griezmann and Rodriguez and don't win the league, it's a joke. I'll be stunned if we get Rodriguez. I never felt we were going to get him. I'd welcome him. I've copyrighted Wander the left foot. So I'll be happy to have him. But I don't necessarily see where he fits in when you've got Griezmann, Mata, Mkhitaryan, Lingard, Pereira, Martial. Why do you need Rodriguez as well? We need a CDM. We need a centre-back. We need a number 9. So, yeah. Rodney Cyrus says Martial won't be sold, but he might be swapped. Well, swap deals don't really happen anymore, but I know what you mean, that we could get rid of him as part of a deal for somebody else. Let me take another call. Josh, can you hear me?
Hello.
How you doing? All right.
Not too bad yourself?
Good. I've seen you calling in for the last couple of shows, and I don't think I'd taken your call. So you haven't been on before, have you? Not for a while, have you?
I think I was on. I think around the quarterfinals of the Europa League.
No worries. Okay. What do you want to talk about, Josh?
I just want to say, pretty ecstatic about the news for Griezmann. Not entirely sure where he's going to play, as other people have discussed as well. Because if I remember rightly, there was a couple of games in the Euros where he actually played up front. But obviously for Atletico, I believe he plays in a front three, but has Torres ahead of him. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's quite fluid at Atletico Madrid as well. Sometimes he does wander up front, but yeah, Torres plays some games. They've got Carrasco as well. Sometimes there's a lot of movement around the front three with Atletico Madrid. He can play up front, but I don't think. That's one thing I would say, and I don't know what you think about that. I think if I was being a betting man now, I'm not too sure that Griezmann up front in the Premier League is the right thing, because he is. There will be concerns about his physicality, because he's not that strong, but he's stronger than people think. But I just think Griezmann does his most damage from the edge of the box, and with players in front of him. He doesn't need to be the focal point.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't. I think you're not a big fan of Lukaku yourself, are you?
If Mourinho signs him, I'll back it. But I don't personally. I think Lukaku just never turns up against us, and that's been going on for a couple of years. And players who can't turn up against us do worry me, to be honest.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I mean. I just don't see us buying another striker unless someone very, very good comes available. I mean, and I can't see Mourinho buying Lukaku after, I believe he was the one that got rid of him at Chelsea. So, yeah. And in terms of Pogba, obviously in the last 4 games, we've looked completely flat without Pogba in midfield. So those couple of months ago when even our own fans were saying, Pogba's not doing enough, Pogba's not doing this, hopefully they can see now. And, the Oppo fans can see that Pogba does a lot for our team. He's pretty much the linchpin in midfield for us at the moment.
No, I agree. And I think what we're saying with Croatia then before, it's very important that whatever happens with this Griezmann deal, that Paul Pogba doesn't become what he has been for the last few months, where he becomes this sort of disciplined sort of pairing with Herrera as a sort of a CDM, more defensive. I mean, Pogba plays his best football when he's running at the opposition, and whatever formation we come up with Griezmann, for me, I don't know what you think, it's important that Pogba does have that ability to get forward, because that's where Pogba goes from being a decent midfielder to potentially world class. Yeah,
that's right, man. I mean, Pogba, people say, he can play cam, he can play the number 10. He is not a number 10. If you've seen some of the ridiculous tackles he's been making this season, I think in the last few games actually, what was the semi-final? He made a good tackle. He made a pretty outstanding tackle against Chelsea. He's been getting back into the box. He's just really important defensively as well. But he cannot play in a 2 against the top opposition because he just gets overrun. And for France, I believe I watched most of their games in the Euros, and Deschamps basically hindered his performances because he was the one playing in the 2 with, I believe it was Matuidi, and obviously that allowed Griezmann to flourish, and they almost did win the tournament, but I just feel like Pogba was playing at like a 6, well, probably more of a 7, obviously, because they did so well, but a 7 every game rather than like the 8s and 9s that we're expecting him to play out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, Pogba plays best in a midfield 3, even at Juventus. So he needs to have that freedom to get forward, but also that freedom to be covered if he does go forward. And I think as a box to box is the best box to tick for Pogba, I think.
Yep, I agree. So do you have any predictions for Wednesday?
Well, I'll do it on my preview tomorrow, and to be honest with you, I don't. I've got to think about how we're going to line up and look a little bit more into. I've read a lot of Ajax over the last few days, and some brilliant stuff that I'm going to bring up tomorrow about how we need to get at them and stuff like that. But no, I've not even processed that far, to be honest. What about you, pal? What are you thinking?
I'm actually a little bit nervous because there has been instances this season where a lot of our players haven't turned up, but I think we will concede because we don't have Bailly in defence and we have Romero in goal. He's solid, but he's no De Gea. But I think we'll outscore them. So I think a score win.
Score win. We've got to win. We've just got to win. We have got to win. Regardless if we sign Griezmann on Saturday, I'll still be gutted if we don't win this game. I want to be in the Champions League. I want to hear the theme music. I don't want to be in the Europa League again. We've got to win. And I don't care how he does it, to be honest. You know, if Mourinho decides I'm going to park the bus and win it 1-0, look, if we've got the trophy on Thursday morning, I'll moan a little bit and say that's not the United way. But I'd rather that than go all out and lose 4-3. And I think it's that important that we win it. I don't know what you think about that.
I think it's an absolute must-win game. Without winning the Europa League, it has been the worst season since Fergie, in my opinion, even though we've won a trophy already.
Interesting. Well, thanks for calling, Josh. Thanks for hanging in there, mate, as well. And where are you calling from?
I'm from Cardiff.
And is that you on the profile pic?
I think you've asked me that before. No, it's not.
Oh, I was going to say, you look after yourself quite well.
See you, man.
Cheers, pal. Thanks for that. Obviously, everyone at home can't see the profile pic, but it's a bloke like that who's built like a brick outhouse. There's a comment here I want to read. It's from Dominic Garvin. But shout out to you, Dominic, but you're about to get buried here. He says, United are a small club. City are the global club. Keep drinking, Dominic. It'll ease the pain. Let's have a look what anyone else has got to say. Brad Gamester says, considering we need a winger, why not Koeman? Pacey. They're not going to sell him. They're not going to sell Kingsley Coman from Bayern Munich, but he's a good player. Ryan McSwiggan, if we lose, season's a failure. If we win, season's a success. It is a one-game lottery tomorrow. On Wednesday. It's a one-game season. It really does come down to that. It's very similar to what happened to Liverpool last year. We don't want that to happen to us. I've been saying all season I would like to get top four, but I would like to get top four because we know we're in the Champions League now. But we all know we'd stick or twist. You'd go for the cup. You would go for the cup. So it's all on one game. Rodney was on last night. I saw him calling in there. I know some people haven't been on before, but he was on last night. I just wanted to grab his opinion on Griezmann. What's your thoughts, Rodney?
Hi, Mark. Yeah, you know that I said last night that I wasn't sure about Griezmann. But if he is claiming that the percentage...
yeah, you said you didn't want Griezmann.
I know.
Sorry, yeah.
I've got to own up to those comments, obviously. If he's definitely suggested or stated that he's interested in joining United, it's a good thing, but it does, as many of the callers have mentioned, raise questions about who moves out so that he can fit into the squad. I know that we've mentioned about Rooney being an actual replacement for Rooney, but I'm more concerned about our more creative players because he is a number 10 and we've got quite a few number 10s. Mata and Mkhitaryan, and I think along with so many of the other players that we've got in the club that we really do need to move on. I'm slightly worried for Mkhitaryan as to whether he will be still part of the squad. Now, someone mentioned earlier about this might be Mata's last season because he may go back to Spain. It would be sad if he did, but if he does go, that would make Mkhitaryan's position slightly more secure. But I think, if Griezmann definitely does come, and I think the caller before made a very good point about Griezmann and Pogba playing in the same France squad. Pogba didn't seem to fit into that system, in the French system, when Griezmann played. And I think they actually made special adjustments for, what was the guy that used to be at West Ham?
Payet.
Payet, yeah. So that he got into the team, which meant Pogba played a slightly more withdrawn and
defensive role,
restricted role. Yeah, it was really quite defensive considering the attacking flair that they had in that team. So I think if we get Griezmann, we still need to think of a way of getting the best out of Pogba, which will mean that we might, if we play with three at the back, we've got to have two holding midfielders, which would mean Pogba definitely has to be more advanced, and Griezmann, I think it's Carisha that was said that Griezmann will play out on the right. And when she said that, I thought that sounded very interesting. But for me, if that happens, we still need someone in the middle who can thread things together, because I don't think Pogba can do it on his own. I think Griezmann, Pogba, and another, and for me, it would be Bernardo Silva. But that's just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the thing with Mourinho is he could well sign Griezmann, play him on the right, and sign Bernardo Silva as well, and swap them around. Anything's possible at United, and Mourinho's not shy to spend a little bit of money. And we must always keep an eye on that and the youth, because we've got some good youth players. But I'm not concerned about the Griezmann signing, because it is a deal that I've wanted to happen for a long time. A lot of us have. And he is the Rooney replacement, and we need a Rooney replacement. So where we go from here, once this deal's been sorted, is interesting.
I think that, I mean, if that is the Rooney replacement and that's already sorted, I think for me the next thing would be, and I think you touched on it a little bit earlier again with the Martial, and he does have lots of talent, but for whatever reason, he hasn't moved on for me as much as he should have. And I actually had to go back and look at some clips of Perisic during the Euros and some of the games that he's played this season, and he would be ideal for us on the left-hand side. Naturally two-footed, eye for goal. When he gets the ball, is very direct, takes defenders both ways. They don't know where they're going, and is excellent at crossing the ball and will bypass the first defender. If there was anyone that we needed alongside Griezmann in terms of a signing, Perisic is the person we need to go for next. If that's possible.
I agree. I like Perisic a lot. I remember when we talked about him about a month ago, and I think it's that sort of Real Madrid greed sort of fan. I'm not criticising them. I think it's been very easy for us to fall into that trap because we've made some big signings over the last 3 years. But because he's not a Galactico and he's not well known, I don't want him. I want Rodriguez. I want somebody else. But Perisic, actually, you're right. He ticks every box. He'd be like a Valencia signing, not in a position, but just cult hero, does his job consistently well, and on the left-hand side, he's got the lot.
Yeah, I would be very happy if we signed him, because he could play on both left and right side. And that, for me, ticks a number of boxes, because I think in terms of Mourinho next year, he will want to play a much more fluid system in terms of personnel. And if we have Perisic on the left, it means whoever's behind him will be secure in knowing that they've got someone who's able to do the work rate in terms of tracking back, because he does put a shift in. And that hasn't always been the case with Martial, because he's been singled out for treatment, and whoever else played out on the left, they've not necessarily done what they needed to do to push the team forward. So Griezmann coming in, I'll eat some humble pie and say good days, and if that happens, I'll be happy. But we need a little bit, we need something else as well as that, because I don't want, like you said, for this summer to be just about Griezmann, because our squad has got so many areas that need to be improved upon. I mean, we could take 2 players from every team. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Well, thanks for calling in, Rodney. Did want to get what your opinion was. And I'll speak to you again soon, pal.
Cheers. And
just picking up on what Rodney was saying there, I do feel that this is the right signing to do first. It could have happened at any time, the Griezmann signing, but to get it done as the first deal, it's like the one we expect. It's the world-class one. It's the best one. Get it done, and then the ones that come after will be interesting. And I think it will be the first of a few. And for all these people who say United's a buying club, if you're Jose Mourinho and you've inherited this squad, he's bringing youth through. There is youth, but you can't all be youth. He's got to sign players. People are, I'm bored of transfers. Why everyone talking about transfers? I want to talk about the youth. Manchester United are going to have to sign players this summer, just like they did last year, because we've got a lot of deadwood, as has been proved through this season and the last 2 or 3. He's going to have to sign players. I don't want to sign 8. 5 probably is about right for what we need. If De Gea goes, maybe 6. And that includes Zlatan going as well. So 6 signings with 2-3 going out the door. We probably need 3 new players and an extra 3 to replace people going out the door. I'll be happy with that. But we've got to sign players this summer. And it's not being a buying club. We've got to buy because we've bought badly in the past. It's simple as that. There's a few super chats I need to read out that I've probably missed. Niall Simmons says, thanks for the contribution, pal. He says you should get Dave on. Just saw Fan TV video. Oh, yeah, I know what you mean, yeah. Jack Strand, yep, he asked about the transfer window. We did that. And Orison said, give this caller a hug. And I think he was talking about Merck. In fact, I'm pretty sure he would. We did the... thanks for that, Orison. Patrick O'Connor, thanks for that. He says, Griezmann, James, Varane, can't wait for next season. Oh, Varane would be fantastic if we can get Varane, but we'll have to wait and see about that. But we look. People are saying why. Let me summarise. Okay, so Monday night at 8:30 is Skype Goldbridge. We're always live for an hour. It's your calls. We were going to be giving you a little bit of a chance to talk about Wednesday night, the biggest game we've had in years. We're setting up to go live, and then this news breaks about Griezmann. Griezmann on French TV asked a direct question: what are the chances of you going to Manchester United? 1 being none, 10 meaning signing. He said 6 out of 10, or 60% if you like it in percentages. The interviewer said, do you know what you're saying? He said, yes, I do. And he said, do you know, is this the first time you've mentioned it about Manchester United? He said, yes, it is. He was then asked about David Beckham, and he said, if I was going to Manchester United, I wouldn't be going to follow in the footsteps of David Beckham. I'd be going there to imprint my own. This is the news. This is what has been said. It is massive. As I said before, Atletico Madrid fans will be in meltdown, because he's been, only yesterday he was saying, why would I want to leave, which is obviously the line you go down when you've still got games to play. His season's ended with Atletico Madrid. He's come out with that today. It'll be shocking for Atletico Madrid, I'm sure, but we all know that if Manchester United offer the buyout clause, they can't stop him from going. It's unprecedented. It is stunning. It is absolutely brilliant, because he's my favourite player. Well, he's not my favourite player, but he'd be my dream signing at United. So really, really happy about it. But I've never heard that before. Somebody on live TV going, I mean, like I said, he could have said there's a 60% or 6 out of 10 chance I'm leaving Atletico Madrid. In which case, PSG, Bayern Munich and United fans would be going, yeah, is he coming to us? Wonder where he's going. But to actually come out and say it's about Manchester United, this deal's there. I don't even think it's dependent on Wednesday night and winning the Europa League. I really don't. But we'll find out. I think regardless of that, we need to win on Wednesday night. So let's get it won. Let's get this deal done. Right. Niall's on about fake news. Look, mate, we don't do fake news, and it's all over the bloody internet. Go and search for the video. If you can speak French, you'll get it in French. If you can't, there's plenty of interpretations of it. But we nearly hit 1,000 likes, which would have been nice before we ended the show. But thanks everybody who's been involved. Skype Goldbridge is every Monday night, 8:30 till 9:30 for you to Skype in and have your say. It is now going to be on Thursday night as well. Obviously, Thursday night's going to be very interesting, because we'll know if we've won it or not. I'm back tomorrow at 7 a.m. with a Transfer Daily. Back tomorrow night at 8:30 with our big United v Ajax preview. And then, obviously, Wednesday, the watch along. We're live every night at 8:30. We've got the 7 a.m. Transfer Daily all the way through till the end of August. If you found the United stand, get subscribing, drop us a like. You found a fantastic community, very vibrant. We say it how it is here. Real fan opinion for fans of Manchester United, but you can get involved if you're a fan of the other. If you want to put yourself through the pain of being a Liverpool fan and see the signings we're going to make this summer, you're more than welcome. But it's all banter, isn't it? But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. It's been a long show, but an enjoyable one. I really didn't expect this was going to happen for at least two or three more weeks. So massive positive. Believe it. It's going to happen. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. with the transfer show. I'm sure Griezmann will get a mention, but in my mind, I'm looking beyond Griezmann already. Griezmann is a dream. Can't wait to see him in a Manchester United shirt, and hopefully it will happen. I'm sure it will now. But I'm just looking at some of the names we've got on the transfer show tomorrow. A couple of them I'd like. See you tomorrow at 7 a.m. Thanks everyone for watching.